Welcome to a special spooky Halloween edition of From Pain Point to On Point. I'm your host, Britt, and today we're diving into the dark side of gamification, the true tales of terror from real companies where was meant to be fun, but turned into a nightmare. We'll be sharing chilling horror stories of gamification gone wrong, but don't worry, we'll also shine a light on how to exorcise those demons from your own sales strategy. So get ready for tricks, tips, and treats to help your team thrive. Let's take a trip through the haunted hallways of gamification gone wrong. Our first story is the Leaderboard Curse. Our first tale takes us to a company that decided to introduce leaderboards to inspire their sales team. The thinking was simple: show everyone's sales performance publicly, and surely people will be motivated to compete, right? Wrong. The leaderboard became the cursed mirror, showing employees their worth only in numbers. Sales reps who were constantly at the bottom felt demoralized, and one day, one by one, they vanished. Well, not literally vanished, but you get it. They left the company. The leaderboard didn't ignite competition. It fueled insecurity and fear. The top performers? Oh, they got complacent, sitting high in their haunted tower, no one wanting to challenge them, and the gap between the best and the rest? It grew wider than a cemetery after midnight. The lesson learned? Leaderboards can turn from motivational tools to tools of terror if they're not carefully managed. Instead of lighting a fire under the team, this company's leaderboard became the ghost that haunted everyone's motivation. Here's how you can make your leaderboards work for your team instead of haunting them. First, understand that public leaderboards can be intimidating, especially for mid and lower tier performers. If you're going to use one, create a system where everyone has a chance to shine. For example, you could have multiple leaderboards based on different achievements, maybe one for sales volume, another for upsells, or one for improvement over time. That way, people who might not be at the top of the sales total can still feel like they're progressing and being recognized. Also consider using anonymous leaderboards where only top performers are named, or better yet, rank individuals within smaller teams. You can even rotate metrics weekly so that there are multiple ways to win. The key is to make sure everyone feels like they can play a part in success, not just the top few. In other words, let your leaderboard reflect potential, not just perfection. All right, that was pretty spooky, but we're just getting started. Gamification may seem like a silver bullet to boost sales, but it's a double-edged sword. On to our next horror story, one that will make you think twice about your rewards program. This is the Great Reward Robbery. This is the tale of a startup that thought they had cracked the code to engagement. They set up a reward system for their sales team, offering fancy electronics, travel vouchers, even cold hard cash for hitting targets. But what happened next was a reward scheme so twisted it left the entire office in chaos. You see, the rewards were so desirable, employees started gaming the system. Turned out, some sales reps just found ways to inflate their numbers, reporting sales that weren't finalized, overpromising on deals, and even stealing each other's leads. Soon, trust in the team was shattered. The worst part? When the company finally caught on, they had to revoke rewards. The promised prizes were gone, and the disappointment spread like a curse. Employees who had spent months chasing these dreams felt tricked, not treated. The company faced serious retention problems afterward, as people just started leaving in droves. The lesson here is simple. Make sure your reward system reinforces the behaviors you want, rather than encouraging shortcuts. Start by clearly defining what constitutes success. It's not just about the final numbers, it's about how those numbers are achieved. You can avoid the pitfalls of the Great Reward Robbery by setting up a reward structure that focuses on activities, consistency, and process-driven metrics. Well, that one was creepy. Now, before you close your eyes and hide under the covers, let's explore another real-life gamification horror story that you won't ever want to forget. This is called The Unwinnable Game. In this tale, a company with good intentions decided to gamify their onboarding process. They created a set of missions for new hires to complete, turning learning into a game. But what they didn't realize was that these missions, they were impossible to complete on time. New hires found themselves running in circles, trapped in a maze of tasks with no clear way out. The onboarding turned into a nightmare, with employees trying to hit unrealistic targets while drowning in confusing processes. And the game, it became more frustrating than fun. New hires started dreading the onboarding process, and some even quit before they even made it to the sales floor. Cue the ghostly sounds of disappointed hires disappearing into the night. Onboarding is your first opportunity to engage new hires and get them excited about their role. So keep it achievable. Instead of throwing everything at them at once, break down the onboarding process into smaller, manageable tasks. Think of it like a video game. There should be clear levels where each one builds onto the previous. Set realistic goals for each stage and allow new hires to complete them at their own pace. For example, the first mission could be about learning how to use your CRM. Only after they've nailed that do they move on to learning about your sales pitch. You can also introduce checkpoints where new hires get feedback and guidance about progressing. That way, you're not just throwing them into the deep end, you're helping them along every step of the way. The goal here is to build confidence, not frustration. So, what's the takeaway from this bone chilling story? Gamification should enhance your onboarding process, not turn it into an unwinnable labyrinth. Keep it simple, keep it achievable, and make sure people aren't left screaming for the exit. We're almost to the end, but I've saved the most ghastly tale for last. You might want to leave the lights on for this one. This story is the monster metrics. In our final tale of terror, a large corporation decided to gamify everything. And I mean everything. They set up a system where every possible metric was tracked, from calls made to emails sent, proposals written to coffee breaks taken. Yes, even coffee breaks. Sales reps were overwhelmed by the sheer number of metrics they were supposed to hit. It was like facing down an army of Frankenstein's monsters, all different, all demanding attention, and all equally terrifying. People couldn't keep up. Their dashboards were cluttered with so much data that it became impossible to know what actually mattered. So, what happened? Employees burned out faster than a jack o' lantern on Halloween night. They were working longer hours, yet productivity plummeted. The gamification system had created a monster: too many goals, too much pressure, and no clear path forward. This horror story has a simple solution. Focus on key metrics that matter most to your business goals. When you're setting up your gamification strategy, identify which behaviors lead to success and keep your metrics aligned with those behaviors. For example, if you're trying to improve sales conversions, don't overload your team with metrics that track everything under the sun. Instead, focus on 3 to 4 key activities that drive conversions, like follow ups, meetings booked, and proposals sent. Simplify your dashboard so that reps can easily see where they stand and what actions they need to take to improve. You can also implement a dynamic system where metrics adjust based on real time performance. So if a rep is doing great on follow ups but lagging in another area, the dashboard gives them a nudge to improve. This way, your gamification program is about guiding and supporting your team, not scaring them into overwork. So, my friends, what have we learned from these stories of gamification gone wrong? While the idea of turning work into a game can sound like fun, it's easy to let things spiral out of control. Whether it's leaderboards causing stress, rewards gone rogue, onboarding turning into a maze, or metrics multiplying like monsters. The key to gamification success is to keep things simple, stay focused on what truly motivates your team, and always, always watch for those unexpected traps that could turn your system into a real life horror story. That's it for our Halloween special. Stay tuned next week where we talk about how to use gamification correctly without summoning any demons. And until then, beware of what lurks in your KPIs and have a fantastic Halloween.